We're going to give it just another minute. We're going to just give it another minute or two for people to join us. And we are, just so you know, we are recording because we had a couple folks who weren't able to make it. And we want to make sure that all our investors have access to everything we discussed tonight. So I hope that's okay.
Still got a few more streaming in here.
How's everyone doing? Yeah. There we go.
Is that your fan?
It's either my fan or Miles's fan.
I'm on mute.
It's my fan. Sorry. Okay. You'll have to live with it until the intro is done.
It's all good.
All right. Anyone else in the waiting room know?
That is it right now.
Hello.
And
Hi,
as
good
they
afternoon.
come in, I will let them in.
Boss, what's up, buddy?
Okay.
Oh, hey, Tom, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. We're going to get started off here, bud. So Claire's going to hit it off. Let's get going.
Yeah,
right
let's
about the
do
top
it.
of the hour. So let's hit it.
All right. We want to be respectful of your time. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today for our first quarterly investor call for Gemini Village. We're very excited to be here with you. My name is Claire Boyd-White. I'm the CEO of Afield Real Estate, one of the investment partners on your general partner team. Just want to welcome you all here. We're going to get through this as quickly as possible and then do questions at the end. So I'm going to kick it over to my partner, Leslie Clark, and she's going to let you know kind of how we're going to moderate this and handle questions. And then we will get started with the info.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining. It's nice to be able to see all of you. And if I didn't see you in a call, obviously we probably connected over email as we were doing all the paperwork. So thanks for joining us. So for questions, the way we're going to do it is that Tom's going to start us off, and we sort of have an agenda plan to give you all of the relevant updates on the property and how the investment is going. And we'd like to reserve questions for the end, just so that, you know, if there's something that we cover before we get to the end, it can be covered by the team. And then if you still have questions, or if there's anything that we didn't cover that you'd like follow up on, we'll have some time at the end to open it up to everyone. So if you think of something, you can throw it in the chat and we'll get to it. And if not, you can wait till the end and then we'll get to everyone then. All right.
Awesome.
Take it away.
Thanks very much. Well, welcome to everybody. I know some of you I've met some of you, but some not face-to-face yet. So we're really glad that you're here tonight, and happy to give you this overview on the property. Myself and James May. James May is in the middle of the night his time. He's going to be coming back to the States here in about a week or so. And he and I are the primary asset managers for Gemini Village. And so have been hard at work dealing with our management team on the ground. A lot of work has been going into the property. A lot of projects have been going on. So I'm going to get into those. And just really quick to let you know who's on site for our team with Asset Living. Asset Living being the contracted property management company. Who's on site with them? We have Stacy, who is the regional director, the regional manager for Asset Living. So she covers Waco, Texas, Killeen, Texas. She's in and out of the property several times a week. So she's not there all the time. The individuals who are there all the time, Adria is our primary property manager. She's doing a great job developing great relationships with the tenants. Her direct assistant is Marissa. So they are both full-time on site, which is a huge change from what we've had previously. So there was no full-time on-site management before. So our tenants are thrilled to be having them on site. And the tenants are thrilled to be able to have the issues attended to in a timely fashion. And the primary individual who handles those trouble calls is Jose. He's our full-time guy. We do hire someone else when we need them on site, when we need that assistance. But Jose is a busy man on the property as of late. We've had a lot of deferred maintenance that has happened, a lot of different projects.
Yeah, buddy.
And so it's, sorry, caught me off guard there for a second. But Jose's been doing a fantastic job in these apartments. And I'll get into some items that they've done. So far for the completed project, 36 units, not with the new rebranding kits that we plan on putting in, but due to some unannounced items that weren't shared with us when we got onto the property full time, there were a lot of issues in the bathrooms and the kitchens. We were told, and the units that we did see, that we were able to see when we did the final walkthrough, those units were in decent condition. Then we got into these other units. Once we took over the property, we were told that they were in decent condition. We got there and it just wasn't true. So we had to go in, do a lot of sheetrock repair, shower repair, sinks, toilets, sheetrock within the kitchens and stuff like that. So over 36 units we've had to repair and do updates on. And again, that included 26 bathrooms, 7 kitchens. And so again, a lot of work went into these, but they're up to par now, and they're up to code, which is fantastic, which is the most important thing, keeping those things up to code and keeping people safe. Other items that we've completed, the tree repair, the landscaping, the tree repair, all of the trees were overhanging on the roofs, which is a definite no-no. We pulled all those back. They're all taken care of and pulled back from the buildings. The landscaping, we've actually had to implement a courtyard drainage system where we had to go in and dig everything up because they've had a lot of water, a lot of rain down there in Texas, which is, they normally haven't had that amount, but we went in and they would have 2 to 3 inches of standing water within the courtyard. So we went in, dug it up, got that professionally taken care of, and that drainage is brilliant right now. So we're really happy with being able to take care of that. We've been working with the pool repair. Both pools have been losing water. We've repaired the one, pool number 2, which side of the property, right next to where the current office is at, the leasing office. So that has been open. We've got new furniture all throughout for the patios around the pools and everything else. So we put a lot of time and a lot of work into that. We still have some troubleshooting to do on the pool number 1, trying to identify the leak. So we have some decisions to make moving forward with that. But as soon as we make a final decision on that, we will let you guys know on how that's going. And then some of the big projects that we've put into place, the Save Water, I know we talked about this on our initial brief when we were sharing the interest in the property with you guys. The Save Water Company and the Save Electric Company. These companies came in, they replaced 100% of the toilets, which is over 200 toilets on the property. All the shower heads and faucets. And when they went in to replace all of these items, they fixed all the leaks that were going on, any of the consistent leaks with the faucets, whatever, they fixed all of those. So that is going to save a ton of money moving forward in our utility bill for water. 1, it's going to lower the amount of water that's being used. And 2, any of the leaking, it's going to eliminate a lot of that extra waste as well. And 3, the toilets that have been installed, they're low flow toilets. So 3 specific ways that we're going to be saving money in the future by putting this into place.
And Tom,
And
can
2,
I
the
add real
second
quick
piece that we
to that?
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
to jump in. So we were quoted a 50% savings in water consumption is what we should be expecting. So based off of that, we do expect to make up all the capital that we use to pay for that over the course of a year of savings. So that's just going to go right to the bottom line with the NOI after approximately a year and a couple of months.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a great point. One thing that we look for, and if you're experiencing the investing, you typically have a time frame where you want to recoup all your capital expenditures. A good rule of thumb is 24 to 36 months. And so we're on target now to recoup that bit of CapEx within 12 months. So that's just a fantastic way of moving forward with that. So we're really excited about that. And for the electrical side, we replaced 100% of the thermostats to electronic programmable thermostats, as well as all the units received LED lighting. So some people are like, hey, the LED are really, the lights are bright. Well, we wanted to make sure that we're putting a good product in throughout the property. So we're excited that that's going to be done, and that's going to help in the electrical costs in the future as well. So the current projects, that's the past projects that we have completed so far. Current projects, the exterior fencing, the entire perimeter fencing that we are replacing. It was a little worse off, and one of the reasons it was worse off the back side of the property, we noticed after the rain there was a lot of erosion happening, and the fence was not prohibiting any of it. And the fence was a bit rickety in the back, and you had people coming through the fence from a neighboring property, and we wanted to limit that. We would get a lot of complaints from the tenants. And so we worked with Stacy, the on-site the regional property manager, and we agreed to having along the backside of the property, it's going to be a steel fencing, and then the remaining perimeter is going to be the cedar fencing. And the company that is doing this is the same company that does our landscaping. So we were really able to get a decent deal on this by several thousands of dollars of a rebate, which is good. And knowing that they're going to put in the crushed rock, and it's not just the fencing that's going in, but is the erosion prevention in as well. So we're excited about that. That's going to just do wonders for that backside of the property and the security of the property as well. The electrical system updates. When we first chatted a while back, our electrical system, there was an electrical bundle that we were told that was being taken care of. When we took over the property, it was not taken care of. So this is what we're taking care of. And when there was a new law that came out after we went under contract on this property, a new law in Texas. So now that we're maneuvering the system, we have to go in and update the complete system. So our capital expenditure was at a certain amount for that particular project. That's going to have to go up a little bit, which is fine. But because we know once we get done with the project, it's going to be done up to code 100%, and we won't have to worry about any of that moving forward. Once that is done, once that wire bundle is rerouted and everything else, then we get into the rebranding of the exterior of the property, into all the exterior lighting that's going to be going on. We have the company identified already. So as soon as the electrical items are taken care of, the Gemstar company, which is based out of Houston, they will be coming up and they'll be on site for about 2 weeks. And they're going to be taking care of all the wood repair on the side of the property, all the painting on the side of the property, as well as the new lighting packages on the exterior portion of the property. And at that time, while that project is going on, our new sign is going to be put into place. You may have seen the email before and the notice before that our existing sign is no longer existing because it was down by the road and somebody actually ran it over. So that sign was destroyed, which maybe it's a blessing in disguise because we planned on removing it anyway. So they may have saved us just some work. But the new sign placement is not going to be in that same location. That sign is going to be very well lit and very visible from the other side of the driveway. And that's going to be closer up to the building, which is going to be right in front of where the brand new office is. So we've got great plans with that. So when the painting's done, the new sign's going up, and the rebranding of the apartment complex, and the rebranding name is going to be called the 901. You may have heard that, you may not have, but the 901 being the address. But we're just excited because we're ready. At that point, we will really be heading away from the history of Gemini Village. It'll be the 901 fresh new units, Brand new management, much better management, new ownership. So we're, that is a current project that is going on. And that is, we also have that under future projects because that's a continuous thing. Give you a time stamp on that. However, we can give you a more specific time stamp on that once the electrical companies get on site and they know exactly how long they'll be. And we expect the electrical companies to be on site probably for about 2 weeks as well. So into July, toward the end of July, we'll be looking at the rebranding. And speaking of the rebranding update, I know I talked to you guys about that. A lot of new colors. I don't have the pictures right now. Hey guys, while I'm chatting, if one of you guys could pull up the pictures of the new office. And this is going to be an example of what the new units are going to be looking like. We just finished the new office this last week. So we've got new appliances in there, new painting, many new items that are just a real fresh and very attractive for the people coming in. Previous office was dirty, very old, pale looking, and it wasn't. You're trying to sell a property and get somebody into your property. That's not the best way to do it. So we're really happy to be able to see what we're doing here. Were one of you guys able to get those pictures up or no?
I'm looking through them, but some of them are like up close on the paint. And I'm trying to find the ones that people actually want to see.
Fair enough. Fair enough. If you get those up here in a second, let's go for it.
Okay, I'll ping you if I can get the ones that are more enjoyable to look at.
Cool. Well, on that rebranding note, we know that through the rebranding, we want to make sure that we have the best clientele that we can to make it the best living experience for the people that are on site. We've had to do some evictions, which actually has taken our occupancy down from about 94% to 87%. And we know that this was going to happen. We knew our occupancy was going to drop, which is great in a way, because that allows us to get into those units even quicker and remodel them, and not just update, but completely remodel. And so how we do that is the company that is based, our company that's based out of Killeen, Texas, they will come up and they'll be on site for a week at a time. And it takes them about 1 full week to completely remodel 5 to 10 units. So what we do as a team, a property management section, they will go in, they will order the kits, the appliances, which is going to be the stainless steel, the faucets, if need be, the cabinets, if need be, all the materials to resurface the countertops, any of the flooring that needs to be done. So these kits will be on site. And so as soon as that company is on site, they have everything they need, and they just go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And that includes painting and everything else. So you're looking about a complete 5 to 10 unit remodel time frame of 1 week. So that is just a great process moving forward. And we already have people that are waiting to hop into those units. We have existing tenants that are looking to move over to those units. And again, they do understand that moving into those higher units, it is going to be a higher rental cost. So once they do that, their lease will be not renewed, but remodeled, reformatted due to going into the remodeled units. So they do understand that the fees will be a little higher, which is expected because we're doing the forced appreciation. And new people that are coming in that are waiting for those new units, they understand that as well. So, and if we move those existing people out into the new units, we can get in there and start taking care of those units as well and just continue the process for as long as we can. There are some repurposing of spaces. We just moved the existing office out of the main area into the new office, and that previous office, which I said earlier was by pool number 2, that is going to be the exercise room. We have 2 different proposals for equipment to put in there, And when we put that equipment in there, we're waiting right now because we have some other priority items that we need to take care of. But moving forward, we're going to have decent equipment in there, a couple treadmills, a couple of ellipticals. We're going to put TVs on the walls and just make it, clean and efficient. And it's ideal because that area is right next to the further back laundry room. So it works out well for the tenants. And
Hey, Tom, not to
Yep.
interrupt, but you want to look at some photos
Yeah.
real quick?
yeah, let's do that. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So just bear in mind, these are in no particular order. But can y'all see this little sitting area? Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. So, but you can see the flooring and the paint. So everything was redone. I know this looks like a very boring picture, but the flooring was not anything and the walls were dingy and dirty. And so this has all been repainted and refloored. They have like a little lease signing area. This is sorry guys. So this paint and the new light fixtures and the subway tile and all redone cabinets. That's a sort of mock-up of what the updated units are going to look like. That's why we had the model unit, which is also our leasing office, serve as kind of like our first run on the upgrade so people can see what to expect. This is a bathroom. And again, like there was some issues with the tub and tile. So that was all fixed here and resurfaced. Here's the kitchen. So all new white cabinetry, new faucets, new sinks, new stainless steel front appliances like we talked about, and then the new light fixtures that are the LED and much more efficient and more attractive, frankly. This is another little desk area where Adria sits. Again, she's our full-time manager with these beautiful little mid-century chairs. And they haven't gotten art up and all that stuff yet. So it's a little sparse, but you can see what is taking shape and how beautiful the floors look with the new wall color and all that. Here's another little desk area where the assistant sits, and then the new kind of ceiling fans that we're putting in as well. So yeah, those are some of the upgrades. They're cell phone pictures, so you'll have to bear with us. But once everything's all actually done and we have a beautifully staged unit, we will want to do some better photos and share those with you as well. Back to you, Tom.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Now keep in mind too, that if you've had the chance, maybe before you invested with us, you may have gone onto the website of Gemini Village, and you could see where the website was pretty well dated and inefficient. And so our company, we have redone the website. We're continuing to work on that. And once we get the updated units, we're going to have the professional photos done, and we're going to have many more things that are just more attractive for people who want to get on the website and take a look at the property. So yeah, I know I don't want to take too long here, and I think sometimes I can gab a bit too much, but the office space is moving along. I talked to you about how we plan on moving forward with the units, 5 to 10 units at a time. I mentioned to you the rebranding update. With that rebranding update, occupancy drop is inevitable to happen, which we planned on to begin with. And that's why when we originally underwrote the numbers on this property, we did a stress test of occupancy of 33%, 33 to 35%. And right now we're sitting at 13%. So we're well within our safety zone, just so you know. And once we get these new units done up, that occupancy rate will climb, and we'll be back up into the 90s. But going into finances and how that works, I'm going to turn it over to Miles, because Miles talks about numbers a whole lot better than I can. So again, if you guys have questions, please write them down. We can answer them later, or if you want to throw them in the chat, please do that. So Miles, go for it.
Hey everyone, Miles here. I'm just going to hit the wave tops for finances. If you ever have additional questions, you want to go deeper, feel free to reach out to me directly, drop a message in the chat, and I'll try and answer. If I have the answer right now, I'll give it to you. If not, I'll get it for you. So high level, hearing Tom talk, we do have a little bit higher CapEx than originally originally planned. That said, we do have a pretty extensive war chest. Just, we expect to be doing a lot of upgrades here as well. And so as certain improvements happen, we are going to see more free cash flow on the property that will allow us to continue pushing the ball forward. Right now, the underwriting, so year one underwriting, the average economic occupancy we expect to have is 89% total. So as long as by the end of year one, our numbers are balancing, we'll be in a pretty decent position. Free cash flow. So we want the average free cash flow for year one to be about 25,000 a month. And free cash flow is after all expenses paid to include debt service coverage. That's the profit that the property is producing a month. Of that, let's talk distributions. So once we get good free cash flow coming in, we will begin monthly distributions. And that's after we have all the funds allocated for the CapEx taken care of. We believe in building that baseline foundation for the property, investing in the property, so that it will provide a greater cash flow in the future. And so right now our free cash flow is looking at about 14K for the last month. To pay out that monthly distribution, it's going to cost about 11K. So we're holding off for right now. We're expecting around December timeframe. Every month we do take a look at it, and we evaluate, hey, where are we currently at with the finances? Is this the right time to start it? Right now we're still anticipating, like we've previously mentioned, about December for that to begin. We do, but we do evaluate that monthly. And while we are not doing the monthly distributions, you still do receive that pref rate. So that money is accumulating for you, that those funds are owed before we go to the 80-20 distribution. So the goal is to get all that to you this year. However, if because we are spending the extra on the property, you are owed that in the future, and we are tracking that. That's all I got, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Miles. I really appreciate that. And I think, we all understand moving forward, we aim, that 6 to 9 month period after takeover in order to put out the distributions. And, I think some of us, we are a little more optimistic on 6, some are a little more optimistic on month 9. And so we are very happy with bottom line is we're happy with the direction that the property is going, with the improvements that are going into place and the money that we're recouping. The new tenants that we have coming in are very, very happy with what they've been receiving. The tenants that we have on site are very happy with the service that they've been receiving. We have a majority of people that have gone to direct deposit for their payments every month. We no longer accept any cash deposits for people coming into the property. It is required that they do everything online. Everything is electronic. When we first took over the property, there's a lot of confusion with the tenants when they pay, whether or not they have to pay a late fee. So that getting over that hump and reacclimating, I guess, or reacclimating folks to their responsibilities, that can be a challenge sometimes. And some did not want to conform to the rules. And that was one of the reasons for some of the evictions. So, but again, we want to make sure we have the best clientele on site, and to create a great community and make it a win-win for all of us. So moving forward, working strong. We got a great team. Our sponsor, Jason, he has repeatedly said how happy he is, how the decisions that we're making with the property, and how we're moving forward with it. He's so happy about it that he offered us to go into another deal with him. And so that's an exciting thing. I know we're talking Gemini and everything else, but we're excited to say that, hey, we're going to be venturing off into another direction as well for another acquisition in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Outside of Cleveland.
Yeah, this one is in suburbs of Cleveland.
So
63
that's exciting.
units. Yeah.
And Jason apologizes he can't be with us today. He's traveling, that otherwise
Right.
he'd be here. So
Yeah.
sorry.
But that's just an indication, that I want, all of our investors, I want our entire team to realize that, hey, there's a lot of faith there. Jason is, I think, close to $100 million done now in real estate as of this year. So, he sees what works well and he sees what doesn't work well. And so for him to bring us on for another project and offer it to us, that's really encouraging for us as a team. So, and that's about all I have. We'd love to open the floor for any questions. Just initially, I'd like to kind of shoot it out to our team if anybody else has anything to add.
I was just going to wrap up what you touched on there, Tom, was, this deal that we just got our offer accepted on, and just outside of Cleveland, suburb there, 63 unit, a C plus asset, right, Miles? If I'm quoting that right. C to C plus.
C plus to B minus.
Yeah, so it's decent property, and
Hello, Papa.
hi, got a little visitor over here, and yeah, we're excited. We're starting work on that now. So if anyone is interested, want to make sure you guys get the first announcement of that, and if you know anyone else, get them in touch with us.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Again, if you guys have questions, let us know and we can get that over to you. If you happen to be interested, or you're just like, hey, not interested, but you just want to know what the heck we're up to. So let us know. We'll be happy to answer any questions on that. So open this up right now for any questions that you guys may have, and we can address them quickly. If you have them, you can type them in or just unmute yourself and go ahead and ask away.
Hi, this is Lydiana Cunningham.
How are you,
Hi,
Lydia?
Liddy.
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Thank you guys for doing the updates. These are really helpful. And I really enjoy watching the videos that you guys post.
Oh, do you like the videos?
Yeah,
We weren't sure if people would watch those or like them or whatever, so we thought we'd try it.
I'm kind of like a nerd, so I like it. I like them.
Great, me too.
And I'm excited. I love to get any information that I can. And I'm still kind of learning. So I had a few questions. So from this deal, like since you guys are like moving so quickly and everything seems to be overcome, like all the challenges and stuff, what are some of the things that you learned from this deal that you will apply to the next one?
Oh, how long do we have, Liddy?
Many lessons learned.
Lessons learned.
Yeah.
So I'll take the first swing at this one.
Yeah, go ahead, Miles.
Yeah, I think Miles gets it.
So a lot of, nothing that's going to kill us, but definitely some contracts for early on in the process. There's some things that costed our team some money of our own money just because we went one direction and then had to pivot. We've actually, moving forward, we're using a different law firm. So we realized that we actually want a firm instead of an independent counsel to represent us. And so we found a good firm that we're going to be working with in the future, just to make sure we're reviewing all of our contracts properly, catching everything. We think if we had a bit of a better contract, we may have been able to alleviate some of the desirable stuff that has happened. Once again, nothing that's going to kill us, but in the future, we want to optimize as best we can. So stuff of that nature.
I think just to let you guys know, though, our attorney, she is fantastic. She does work alone, though, so she has a lot of other items and that are on her plate. And so we are continuing with some legal items with the previous owner. And so that's taken up a lot of time for her. And so when she's by herself, she can't share the responsibility with anyone else. With a firm, some of that can be delegated. So that's one of the pros with moving forward with a firm instead of just a single entity like that. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
And then-
doesn't reflect on her.
Oh, no,
Just
we love her. She's
reflects
amazing.
on the workload. So
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like if it's with her, the service was probably more personalized too. But with a bigger firm, everything that's kind of like, there's like more muscle, but yeah, that makes sense. And my other question is kind of like related. So like with the, you mentioned the issue with the apartments, that the ones that you saw were in better condition. Then, and there were like problems with other ones that weren't expected. Was that like, did that work? Like, oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, finish your question.
Your
Jim, sorry.
question.
Oh, I mean, from the presentation, from what you said, like,
Yeah.
I couldn't, I don't know, I was kind of like curious, like, were they selected by them, or were you like randomly selecting apartments, or like how? I'm
that
sure it's
goes
kind of
back. Yeah, I'm going to jump in on this because
Yeah,
this
go ahead,
actually
Don.
goes back to a learned lesson within the contract. So when we did the contract, we went over the due diligence period, and it was just very fine writing, and it was a bit, it was a bit disingenuous for how it was written up from the purchaser's attorney, from the seller's attorney, sorry, that our walkthrough would be after final sale. So it's just something simple in there that one, we're going to be aware of next time. But so we actually had to try to convince the seller to get our team on site, because they were not allowing our team on site. They did allow them on site, but they said they were only going to allow them to see the vacant units. So when we walked through, the vacant units that we saw were in decent condition. They couldn't find a couple sets of keys for some other units. Eventually, after that immediate walkthrough, which was about 2 hours, was done, the keys were found. Purchase sale agreement is all taken care of. We have ownership of the property, got into the apartment, and that storm, which I'm not trying to badmouth anybody, but they had shared that there was no damage from that ice storm. Well, there was damage from the ice storm. And so it appeared that they were trying to hide it. I'm not going to speak for them, but I'm just going from our point of view. And so we had to get in there and fix some of those units. That being said, the occupied units, there was a lot of deferred maintenance, and that was never addressed. So tenants had put in calls for maintenance, and just the previous company never fixed them. So they actually told one tenant that we were going to do a wheelchair access and put in a whole new tub and everything else for them. And we're like, no. So there were a lot of things done and whatever else. So when the units that we were able to get into were not in bad condition, little things, but nothing big. But once we got into those other units, I know that's a long answer to your question. Sorry about that. But we got in there and we saw some extensive damage, and we really had to jump on that for the well-being of the tenants.
And then like a follow-up to that, it's kind of like related. So like for a project like that, where it's like obviously if it's like a single property, like it's a lot easier to do like the inspections and all of that. But for an apartment building where there's like a bunch of people living in the apartments and stuff, so there could be like access issue coordinations. How does that work? Like, what do you get an inspection of the whole building or something, or is it
You do
a thing that how does that work?
Yeah. So our management company, what we do is we get an entire team on site that goes through every unit. Again, due to extenuating circumstances, we weren't able to do that. But you have about 10 to 12 people on site, and they walk through every unit. They record all the information on every unit that they saw in the initial due diligence walkthrough, which was in December. They still have that information. So as they go through those units, they're pulling that information up on the unit, and they see if there's anything different, and they spend maybe 3 minutes in a unit. So they're very efficient when we go through the units and we know exactly, okay, how things are being done, and they annotate everything. So at that point, you can take it, okay, you said you were going to keep it at this point. This is what it looks like now. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, because I guess my question comes from, like, I guess the purpose, my understanding of the purpose of an inspection is that, you know, the inspection is like a professional, they have their license or
Yes.
whatever. So if there's issues after the fact, maybe they like share some of the responsibility if they didn't notice, because you paid for a
Well,
service. Like,
yeah, you're talking about the inspectors.
yeah,
Like the structural, roofing and electrical, those kind of inspections, what you're.
like the, I
Yeah,
guess
so I see what you're saying.
what
With a
like a
residential building, you get an inspector, or even a smaller property, you would have a certified commercial inspector or residential inspector go through and give you a report of all the systems. With a large commercial like this size, you won't always do that specifically. You will have your property management team go through each unit and verify visually a lot of things, which they are very skilled at. But you're also you're putting out there your environmental inspection, which is hugely important because that can come back to bite you very expensive in the future if you were not to do that and miss something. But you're also doing a scoping of the sewer lines, and that's a very important one as well. Those are your two. It's really focused more toward what are the top things that could cost us the most money in the future versus every single inch of the property like you would with a residential property. But
And
you
So
will
it's
look
like,
at all.
you also have a
So you-
structural inspection going there as well. So you do
Yeah.
check the bones of it. If there's any
Correct.
major structural issues, that's going to cost you tens, if not hundreds of thousands. We do have people checking for that.
And it works a little bit different. Whereas you buy a house, you usually pay for the inspector to go out and do those sort of things. With this, and generally it's the lender that will send those people out to conduct those inspections, and then that gets rolled into your closing costs.
So I think that the short answer to your question is it's not one person who comes out and does the inspection. It's many moving pieces inspecting different aspects of the property, but also it is a lender requirement. So it's not the kind of thing that we could have just piecemealed together for fun. And then if we wanted to cut corners, we could. The lender requires very strict, specific inspection checklists but it's just not one person who comes out and does everything. It's many different contractors.
Claire's answering the questions from now on.
the what?
I said Claire's answering the questions from now on because she does it in about 30 seconds instead of our 20 minutes.
That's funny. And then I just wanted to plant a seed. Like, have you thought about, I mean, obviously you have a lot going on and you're doing a great job. But I wanted to plant a seed like in the future, like the government has a lot of incentives now to install like electric vehicle charging stations. Obviously you're familiar with the area. I'm not that familiar with the area like on the ground. So do you think that's going to be like something viable? Like if there's incentives, like is that something that would work there in that area?
Just knowing this area of Texas, I don't think it's caught on as much as say Austin and Dallas, Fort Worth. In those bigger cities, you're going to see a lot more prevalence of the electric vehicles. But Waco, I think it's getting there, and that's something I can, as a team, we'll dig into and determine if the demand makes sense yet. But yeah, generally, I would say Waco's not quite there just yet.
Cool. And then if you have time at the end, I'm not going to ask any more questions, but I'd like to hear more about the other deal.
Oh, yeah. And we'll also be doing more informational stuff, like we did for Gemini as well, as for you get due diligence and get more data, but absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Anyone
we will
else?
have a webinar on that soon, as soon
yeah.
as that offering is active. But we wanted to make sure we at least get the word out to all you guys. And if you're interested, you know, at least you know about it and you're ready to kind of start thinking about if you're ready to jump into another investment.
It is smaller because it's only 64 units, but one of them is being used as the office. So it's a smaller capital raise, so we won't have as much room in this one as we did in Gemini. So we're kind of trying to let our current investors in Gemini get the early pickings.
So
There's not as much
a couple of highlights about this one that we really like is because it's in Jason's, essentially his backyard, his stomping grounds, his vertically integrated property management company would be managing this, which lowers the cost of property management overall. It's going to help out the returns on that property. But also there are at least one or two other properties in the area. I think 90 miles you can touch
a 94
on that a little more. 94.
Let's wrap up Gemini for tonight, and then
but
discuss that.
There are potential for more properties in that area, so that's one reason we look at possibly, you know, getting that foothold and building more in the vicinity.
Any other Gemini questions? And again, if you have any and you don't think of them now, you can always email us or reach out to whoever your original contact was. So we are at your disposal. All right. Well, I think got one?
Sorry about that.
Hey, Larry.
Larry, you going to chime in with a question?
He's multitasking here. He's got a lot going on.
I know. Just in case there aren't any other questions, a few things that I want to just share with you guys. You know, one of the most important things that we want to do with you guys, and one of the reasons that we do these videos, is because we want to manage the expectations of everybody. And so we want to keep you plugged in. We like to do the videos once a month. And we'd love to get your feedback on that. You know, Liddy, it's great. And we're glad that you appreciate the video. Again, that's the kind of feedback that we look for, because people are like, you know, you're wasting my time. We don't want to waste your time. So we just want to make sure that, again, we're managing your expectations and making all the reports available for you guys and getting you what you need. Another item that we did not discuss, but we are in the process of kicking off, and that's our cost segregation. That time frame for completion is going to be about 2 weeks. And how we do that, we start off by making a complete list of items that we are removing and replacing from the property, such as all the plumbing items, the toilets, the thermostats, shower heads, all these things. So that I know we mentioned the cost segregation a few months ago when we first started looking at the property with you guys, but that is taking place, and we're going to be moving forward with that pretty quickly. And as we move forward, we will have some emails that come out that kind of show before and after pictures, so you guys can see what the progress is, not just hear about it. We want you to be able to have a good feel for what's going on down there as well. So that's how I'm wrapping that up. But again, if there's any, by the ways, any other questions, please chime in.
All right. If no one else has anything else on Gemini, Lydia, did you have any other specific questions? Again, we just went under contract on the Cleveland property, and so we haven't done our due diligence yet, but if you have any other general questions.
Maybe if we want to let folks, if you want to hop off now, if you're good, you know, we can get a little bit more into this other Ohio deal, but as far as Gemini is concerned, we're wrapping up. So thanks for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to, or that come up after that you think of, you can always email us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Larry.
Flying to look at more property right now. So
nice. I thought you looked like you were at an airport.
Yeah, my plane got delayed by a couple hours.
My wife saw your face mask.
All right.
Nice, man.
I'm heading over to Arkansas.
Very.
We've got some off markets over there. We got about 6 different properties to take a peek at. So
that's awesome.
Trying to get everything. We got some meeting with some lenders we're meeting with. So
Busy.
Very nice.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, have a good flight.
I want to hear about this next one you guys have.
Oh, all right.
Ronald,
Yeah,
if you're here to hear about it, awesome. If not, feel free to drop off.
Yeah.
So we just got our LOI accepted, letter of intent. We're currently in negotiations on the purchase and sale agreement. They're taking the first draft of it, and we'll have, once we receive it, we'll have our legal team review it, and we'll play ping pong with that for a little bit. The agreed upon deadline for it to be completed is within 12 days. And that's just to ensure time for all of us to go back and forth and get a refined product. All that said, the seller is actually, the broker is the seller, so they're using a different person at their brokerage firm to broker the deal officially. However, there is a already existing relationship between Jason and this broker. Jason has brought deals from him in the past. And